What's up, guys? It is us here at Rocket Punch. Myself, Cameron. Seth is over there. We're back here for part 2 of Game of the Year 2020 awards, deliberations, showcase, whatever you want to call it. You call it whatever you want to, but it's Game of the Year here at Rocket Punch.
Intimidations, mutilations.
There you go. Sure, we'll go with those. Guys, we're jumping here into part 2, which is going to be our award for best score in music. That is kind of giving a quick description of that. That is, we're giving that to the game with outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and/or licensed soundtrack. Because I ripped that straight from the Game Awards. Thanks, Jeff Keighley. No, this is best music and score. This is the games that we thought, had some of the best music, soundtracks, whatever that is. We just loved every minute of it. That music that kind of brings you in. We talked about it in part 1. We're like, music, when you don't notice it, it's awesome. And then, except in specific points when the music swells and kind of really continues to immerse you into that world. And so that's what we're here to talk about. That's what we're going to make our picks for. Let me give you a quick recap, guys, of Game of the Year here at Rocket Punch, guys. If you're new to it, for some reason, if you jumped away from part 1 and just came straight to part 2, give you a quick recap here. Throughout the month of January 2021, we're going to be going over our Game of the Year categories here, our 10 categories that we have. Going through, in each of those categories, we're going to pick two runners-up for Seth and 2 runners-up for myself, and then we'll each pick 1 winner that we choose for that category. We'll also, after that, we'll give you guys our runners-up and got our honorable mentions, per se, and kind of games we want to give a quick shout-out to that maybe didn't get recognized fully throughout the deliberations there. This is part 2, so this is going to go through the first week of January, along with part 1 and 3. Part 4, 5, and 6 are going to be next week. 7, 8, 9 are going to be the third week in January, and it's all going to culminate to the live recording of Part 10, which is the Game of the Year, at the end of January there. Actually, I have the date, January 24th is when that date's going to happen. So definitely get excited for that. We'll also, throughout the entire month of January, we will have the People's Choice voting available all month. So if you want to make your voice heard and you want to tell us what you think should win in these categories and a couple of extra ones, then make sure you're following us over at Rocket Punch Go and at Darth Turner so you can jump in on that voting action. That's pretty quick, right? That only took like a few minutes. So
Very quick.
Let's jump into best music, best score. This is a fun one. I think we always say it's one of our favorite categories that we do because music is just we love music so much. It's so exciting. Mm-hmm. I am going to, we got to do the coin flip, don't we?
Oh, okay. I was going to ask, are we doing the coin flip or you just want to flip it up?
We're going to flip it up. We're going to do that from here on. We already did the coin flip in part 1. So in part 1, I went first with my selections here. Seth, you're going to go first with your selections and to give you guys a heads up here. We are going to play clips of the song. We know that our limit is about 30 seconds for a song. So in post-production, I'm going to edit in about 30 seconds of each of the songs that we talk about and describe to you guys here to kind of showcase why we liked this game soundtrack or music so much there. But we can listen to as much as we want to since we're pre-recording this. Seth, kick us off. Let's go.
All right. So first runner-up for best music. Now, Cameron, one of the criteria that I have for music is music has to make an impact, right? It has to... In my opinion, music is what really attaches the memory of a game to your brain, right? I think the best example of this that I've ever had is the Undertale soundtrack. If you've played and beaten Undertale, you can listen to the Undertale soundtrack and know where each section of the game, basically what section of the game you're in when you're listening to the song, right? It is perfectly encapsulated that way. So that's kind of how I think about stuff. So my fun thing is I'm going to play my first little clip here, tell you a little bit about it after we play the first clip, and then I'll talk about the game and share some more clips. So does that sound cool with you?
You do it however you want to.
So here is the song from my first runner-up, I think it's going to be pretty easy to guess, but here we go. And that, of course, was V from Cyberpunk 2077, my first runner-up pick for best music or score. It is, I talked a little bit about Cyberpunk in our first episode a little bit, but again, when I think about music, right, I want it to be something that connects me to what is happening in the game, right? I want it to be unique and iconic, and I want it to be something that really complements that gameplay, right? Cyberpunk is a game about being a future robot person and hacking the shit out of everything and taking down the corpos or joining the corpos, depending on your decisions that you make. But something about the music, and like the music in and of itself is fantastic. It is worthy of praise. It's honestly worthy of nomination for probably some of the best of the year. But it makes it as one of my runners up because what it really, I think it captures is when you think about Cyberpunk, right? Like you've got these preconceived notions about, you've got the Blade Runner approach, right? Where it's like dark and moody. You've got the hyper, I would say like almost Watch Dogs Legion style approach where it's just like neon lights and crazy, cyborg drones and everything. And like this sits right there in the middle where it's like this, it's, very heavy, very driving soundtrack. I've got two more clips that I want to share from this particular game that I think encapsulate it really well, what the feel for the game is going for, because it takes place in Night City. It's a West Coast city. There's a lot of Japanese influence in the game.
There is
one of the major
100%.
corporations from Japan. And so the next one that I want to play is called Cyber Ninja. And this one, I think, does a great job of capturing that grungy driving feeling from the first song, which was V. This one, I think you'll see where it has that that Japanese influence in there as well. So let's take a second to listen to this one. So yeah, in the second clip with Cyber Ninja, you heard it kind of at the beginning there. It had almost like that that very Japanese like string. That
I was gonna say like that was it didn't get me at first, but then like as I listened to it more, like I started hearing those little ding 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 strings in there. I was like, oh, there it is. It's really
definitely
cool.
not Ghost of Tsushima. It is not that calm, relaxing, but it is that it fits that driving that really just fast-paced hyperspeed mold. The next clip that I'm going to show you is from iCloud signing me out once again. So let me get that pulled up here. But yeah, the next clip that I want to show you is from, I can't remember what it's called, but I know it is, it's basically what you hear when you're outside the city, when you're driving through the Badlands, Outsider No More. So this is a little bit more focused around being I call this area the Mad Max zone because it truly does remind me of like Mad Max and like that type of environment. So yeah, let's take a listen to this and get an idea for Outsider No More. right. So you can tell that had a very different tone to it, very chill.
I was gonna say that, like,
Sitting under the
very,
night
very
sky.
calm. Yeah.
Yeah. So not everything is like super driving. I just think from a composition standpoint, from just the general overall sound, I think that Cyberpunk's soundtrack really captures like the chaos and cacophony of Night City, and particularly those combat encounter themes are just really, really cool. So it's a runner-up, and I think it is a fantastic entry for best score in music in 2020.
Okay. Good runner-up. Well deserved. Good pick. It's my turn. Ooh, boy.
Which PlayStation game did you pick?
I think I've got some surprises for you.
Oh.
I think I've got some surprises for you that you may not expect. But this is always a hard one for me. Well, except for the year that Persona 5 was on the list, in which case that was a clear runaway winner.
Easy.
Like, easy.
I mean, technically, Persona 5 Royal could be on the list.
It could be. Maybe it is.
Maybe it is. You never know.
It's not number 3, though. Number 3 is a different... It's not different, but here I'm going to play number 3 for you. This is my runner-up. I say not in any order, but this is one of my runners-up here, and you're gonna hear it and you're gonna instantly know what's going on. But I have to put this is one of the immediate ones that I knew was on the short list for best score in music for me when I started listening to this. So here is my pick from the first song, and I'll talk about it more after the break. Okay, guys, that is the song "Everybody Falls." It is the theme for Fall Guys here. It is by, hopefully I'm not butchering their names here, Jukiko Kallio and Daniel Hagstrom doing the soundtrack for this game. They're actually also doing updates to the soundtracks for each season. I could not, as soon as I saw best score in music, I'm like, this game will be talked about in some way on this list. This entire soundtrack, like specifically this song, and I'll pull another sample out as well. Like from the start, as soon as I am ready, like let me hit the button here. As soon as I'm starting in and I'm queuing up, I just want to sit at the loading screen. It's one of the few things that, like, I want to sit at the loading screen for as long as I possibly can just to listen to this music, because it is so awesome, and it showcases that the fun, excitement that you're going to have playing this game and goofing off and trying to win. And speaking of trying to win, another song kind of sampling that and kind of continuing with that, I want to say like bubblegum-esque flavor that they've got going for it here is the last song. So this is the song called "Didn't Fall, You Win." It's the last song in the album here. This is this music that you actually get to hear if you get, for the few people out there that actually have won a crown, like myself. This is the song that you get to hear when you actually win. So listening a sample from this one here. Again, it is called "Didn't Fall, You Win" by the same people, Jukio Kallio and Daniel Hagstrom for Fall Guys. But no, that song, like, you hear that song, you're like, yes, I did it, I won, I beat all the other contestants there, and it just, the music in this game is so much fun. Like, even in that track, if you listen to it, like the clap tracks that happen, where like people like cheering, the cheer tracks, like clearly conveying to you, even in the music, that this is a game show. And like, you got the cameras up and they're watching you guys trying to run through these obstacle courses here. and you're cheering at, the people watching you cheer for you as you like win or lose, or fall off there. And it's just like it really helped encapsulate that experience in Fall Guys. This should be a testament to it when I say this. If you've listened to Rocket Punch for a while, this was almost a no-brainer for me on this list as Persona 5 was back in 2017. Like, done.
Right.
This has to be on the list. Put it on.
I feel very bad that it is not on my list because you were right. It is among the best music. What I was talking about earlier, like you could just play that and people would know immediately what it is.
I listened to one of the things I helped gauge myself on like best music and whatnot, like the songs that I could listen to outside of the game too. Like I play the hell out of this soundtrack on a daily basis. So it's one of my runners up for good measure too. The music in here is great. And like I said earlier, it's cool. I found out today. So each time a new season comes out, it actually has a new song that it drops, like a new album set.
Oh, that's cool.
So if you would humor me, Seth, I will let you guys listen to a song that I just heard today. So this is for season 3, since it's kind of like Christmassy and snow and whatnot. This is the song, I guess the intro song, from the same people, Jukio Kallio and Daniel Hagstrom. It's called "Merry Falling, Everybody," for the Fall Guys season 3 soundtrack. So take a listen here. So like in that one, you can kind of see it's clearly the main theme, but like the Christmassy and kind of winter elements they add in with like the fire crackling and then like the Fall Guys going, woo, like we're cold, and like the jingle bells that are coming in there. That's top tier, 100% top tier. That is how you do music soundtracks right, and that is why it is one of my runners up for best music.
Very nice. That's a tough one to follow. There's one thing that you had mentioned that you said great music is something you can listen to outside the game. And this one feels weird for me to include, but the music is so good that I have to. Because this one, I'm not going to do the guessing game because it's a little bit niche. But this game is called Eichenfeld.
I know the game you're talking about. Yeah.
So Eichenfeld came out in October on Steam. It is a fun little like a turn-based strategy RPG kind of thing. And while I have not played the game myself, I adore the soundtrack. And this is one of those weird instances where like the music, like I find the music on Spotify through one of my numerous video game Discover weekly things, and then I just kind of dive straight into it. So I'm going to share 2 particular tracks that I think summarize really well what this game's sound is all about. The soundtrack is made by a couple of different folks, Ivy and Surashu, and Sabriel Augustine are the kind of the composers. The Avi and Surastru, man, I really wish I should have practiced that. Seem to do the audio, the kind of chiptune portion, and then Sabriel does the vocal component here. So I'm going to share 2 parts. First is Lullaby for a Witch, which is the title screen. So let's take a moment to listen to this together. literally the chillest soundtrack that you can put into your ears.
Like, I got a lot of like clearly old school vibes because of the chiptune-esque. Like, even like I felt like I was playing a Zelda game. Like I had that moment, like maybe I was playing like A Link to the Past, or even like Ocarina of Time. Like the way
it
that
had like
was like
vibe to it. Yeah,
it was really cool.
What it reminds me of a lot is the Stardew Valley soundtrack. It's that type of very chill, and while Stardew Valley is all chiptune, this I think does this soundtrack does a little better job of incorporating real instruments with chiptune instruments. So the next one I want to share with you is called Rhythm of the Wind. This is a battle theme, and I love this. This is one I could just loop all day. So let's take a listen. So yeah, you can kind of get the vibe for it there. It starts off with the the guitar, the instrument. Then about 25-ish seconds in, you start to get the little chiptune bits, and then it kind of builds up. It's just, man, what a great, like, every single track on the soundtrack is fantastic. I cannot praise the game enough. It is such a good game from a music perspective. And it's something, it makes me want to try the game. The music's so good, I want to try the game just to see like where it is in context for it, because it is such a cool soundtrack. So check it out. I Can Fail original game. I was gonna say,
like, I know the game, I know about the name, but I've it's always flown under my radar. I completely forgot about it. So it definitely sounds like
coming in clutch, man.
Yeah, I got to check that game out for sure.
Mm-hmm. So that is my second runner-up for best music.
Oh boy, okay. So it is time for my pick now. Okay. My next pick, actually, okay. This next pick, it may or may not surprise you. It may or may not surprise you, but this was one, I will be honest, like really thinking about my list here. What I really thought about it, all of them, like they had to be on this list. Like no question, had to get them out. So I'm going to tease everybody again. I'm going to let you guys listen to it here. But this may surprise you. It may not. I don't know. Depends on if you pay attention to anything that I say or do. Or in the
I think I know where we're going.
Seth, you probably know where we're going here. So this is my next runner-up here for best music. This is one of the songs here I want to bring up. If you should know it instantly as soon as you hear it. Come on. Yes, that is the song "Let the Battles Begin," breakthrough from our Lord and Savior Nobuo Uematsu from Final Fantasy VII Remake. I mean, come on. For the love of God, if you don't know where the hell you are here listening to Rock Punch, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. This was going to be on the list. Somewhere on the list, it was going to be on there.
Not a question. Not a question.
Not any doubt in anybody's mind if you paid attention. This game, the music in this game, the reason I put it on that list, like, as everybody knows, I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy VII, one of my fondest memories in games that I've played, and the music was something that, dude, I would have been fine if they would have just taken the music, done the Distant Worlds rehash and just orchestral soundtrack. But the fact that they took it as well and kind of made it its own thing, kind of improved upon it, added other notes and inflections that kind of make it feel new and fresh while still familiar at the same time was just so awesome. That is the music that you listen to, of course, when you're in fighting and in a battle here. The other song I wanted to pick up, which one is it? Is it going to be... No, I know which one. I'm looking through the list here because I bought the soundtrack like twice. It's just, that's how it is.
One might call you brand activated.
You know what? We'll pick an easy one here. This is the song. Actually, no. You know, I'm picking a new one. I was gonna pick "Bombing Mission," which is a classic for anybody who's listened to it, or played the start of the game. I'm going to play a one that was very fun. This is Scorpion Sentinel. I don't think this is spoilerish because it was part of the main demo when they showed the game off, but this is the music that plays when you are fighting the Scorpion Sentinel, which is the first boss in the game inside the Mako reactor. So enjoy this. This is from Nobuo Uematsu and Shotaro Shima, Scorpion Sentinel. So take a listen. But again, like in that same song as well, in that same vein, like those familiar notes and kind of how Uematsu-san has like created this entire new score and soundtrack. Like it was as much fun as it was to play this game for me. It was just as much fun, if not more so, like listening to all these old tracks that from the original game that have kind of been remastered in that sense, or redone or remade for this remake. And I'm so very happy that they went through and took the extra time to redo and upgrade these songs and flesh them out. It's just so wonderful. Like it's so many nostalgic memories, and yet now I listen to those specific songs and I see the new remake playthrough that I went through in this game, and it's really awesome. But I mean, come on, Final Fantasy VII remake, it's gonna be on this list, hands down. But that maybe should intrigue some people, because until about an hour ago, that was my number one. I will tell you that. And I made a change. So that might intrigue some people.
I've altered curious.
The BU. Probably I don't alter it any further. Maybe as to what my number one pick is. But that is a runner-up, Final Fantasy VII Remake. That soundtrack is awesome. A complete separate side fun fact. I actually, for Christmas, I got a record player from my wife. And you better be damn sure I'm going to find some vinyls of some Final Fantasy music to play on that vinyl.
Heading over to I Am 8-Bit, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Gonna load up.
Definitely gonna load up.
Not sponsored. We're not sponsored. Please. Anyways, it is time for the winner. Seth's winner. And I'm not going to tell you the name of this game, because if you don't know what it is, you didn't live in the year 2020. You are not alive. So here we go. Of course, it is Animal Crossing New Horizons. And
good pick.
When, again, I think great music is music that resonates with you long after you play the game, right? And even if you haven't touched Animal Crossing since March, right, you can still hear that theme song and still imagine your island skimming over it, right? with the little airplane shadow coming down on it. It is just such a peaceful and relaxing soundtrack. But Cameron, I got to tell you something about the Animal Crossing soundtrack. And I would consider getting this as a tattoo if I got tattoos. And that is nothing. I mean nothing slaps quite like the 6 p.m. theme song. Let me hit you with 6 p.m. from Animal Crossing New Horizons. Nothing slaps like 6 p.m. And to make sure you know that this is a soundtrack that goes even further beyond. Every single song for every single hour in the day has alternative versions for if it is raining or snowing. So now nothing slaps. I did not know that. Nothing slaps, Cameron, like 6 p.m. in the rain. So here we go. You see, when it's raining outside, you can't bring the drums out, dude. The drums will get wet. So you leave the drums inside when it's raining. You get the same chill.
I did not know that. The game did that.
Yep.
That is pretty cool.
Different music depending on... listen, the Kazumi Totaka, the composer for Animal Crossing, Masterpiece. Animal Crossing New Horizon, best soundtrack of the year. I mean, if you've played this game, you know that the soundtrack makes Animal Crossing. Like it is as much Animal Crossing as the animals. It is truly, there's no other soundtrack like it. Every single Animal Crossing soundtrack that comes out gives you an unlimited supply of music to work or relax to. So what are you doing? Get out there, favorite the YouTube videos before it gets taken down tomorrow for copyright. But it's okay, because someone else will re-upload it, and you can enjoy these tasty jams all year round.
Good deal. Good pick. That is a game that chill music is very awesome, and I enjoy it very, very much. It's my turn, isn't it?
It is your turn.
Okay, so it's my pick. As teased before, I picked Final Fantasy VII Remake as the runner-up. So who in the hell beat out Final Fantasy VII Remake for me this year in 2020 for best scored music? I will give you a teaser, Seth. It is not Persona 5 Royal. I was this close to putting it on the list, but it is not Royal. I don't know if you have any guesses to what it is, although you won't be surprised when I play the first track here, especially
I want you to know, before you play this, Persona, here's one of my hottest 2020 takes. Persona 5 Royal does not deserve the best spot because they replaced Last Surprise as the main battle theme, and that was stupid and dumb.
I digress. Actually, I have the game. I've been playing it. It is still in there.
It's in there, but it's not the main.
It has
do the mask rip.
If you do an ambush, there is a different song that comes up, and that song's actually pretty awesome too. But I digress. That is not the winner for best score for me.
Not the winner.
This is the song from the game that is. So I will talk about it afterwards. But please enjoy this. that, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not figure it out, and it took Seth like a slightly unnerving amount of time to figure it
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
is the song "Won't Give Up" from John Pisano, who did the soundtrack for Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. That is my number one pick. I have to say, like I said, remake would have been at the top of my list, hands down. But then I really thought about it. I really like one of the comments I made, like of thinking like the music that I'll listen to outside. That's a factor for me in best scored music, that I can listen to it outside of the game and still get those beats and notes. And I will tell you, ever since, so that song is from the, like, when you hit the play button on the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 and it loads into the main title screen, that is the music that plays with Miles standing on the subway. And from that first track to all of the soundtracks in between, I loved it so much. And you could say it's cliche, however you want to say it, but on it, like, my opinion, the fact that they could take a lot of like familiar notes and songs from Marvel Spider-Man, which is great soundtrack, and add these kind of hip hop and rap undertones and tracks to the music to better fit this new Spider-Man. He's, Miles Morales. He's his own man, and what he does and kind of the story that he tells in Brooklyn and in Harlem was just, that resonated with me very greatly. And it was, I thought about having like a huge discussion on just Miles Morales and like that game and how that fits into like for African American gamers. And because I really, after beating this game, I really sat and thought about the impact that game had on me, and like thinking about how the impact it would have on my nephews and my nieces, because like they came over while I was playing this game. Like, one of my nephews is like, "Is that Spider-Man? Oh, that's Miles Morales," and he was wearing Miles Morales' shirt, and I was like, cool. That's like, oh, that's awesome. And like thinking about all that and thinking about this music, I was like, I listened to this a lot of tracks on here specifically constantly, and I had to put this is my number one. Another track I want to let you guys listen to. It's like a very strong moment story-wise in the game, and kind of the bringing this notes here. This song is the track that plays, without giving any spoilers away, when you get a chance to jump into the open world and you're actually starting to explore a little bit with Miles. This is the song that is played, and it's the title of the track is called New York's Only Spider-Man. So take a listen. But again, like, listening to that track, how it has those huge swells and those familiar Spider-Man notes from this universe and from these games, and yet it adds that kind of hip hop flair and those the what the hell do the kids call it, the trap beats and the 808 drums. Hell, I don't know. Like all that stuff.
I call them the fatty beats.
The fatty beats. There we go.
Add the fatty beats.
Like adding those undertones to kind of like, I could, if you played that same song, played those songs for like Peter Parker and Miles Morales, those would be totally different themes and songs that would resonate in there, and you can easily tell like that's Miles Morales, whatever that song's going to, that's for him there. And I think I remember hearing that song at that moment in the story, and I was like, man, this is like really, it swells and it really gets you motivated to like go out and start like finding some crime to fight. This, do I want to play this last one?
That's up to you, boo.
Yeah, I want to play this last one because it is one of my favorite songs on the soundtrack. So this one is not done by John Pisano. This is from one of the artists who helped collaborate on the track. It's specifically for the game, but it's an artist, Lecrae, that helped participate with the soundtrack here. This is kind of like at another pivotal moment in the game where you hear this song here. But this song is called "Where We Come From." It's super awesome. I love it.
This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, Don't mistake the new me for the old me. They can't stop me now, I'm with the home team.
But again, like that song, like the themes that it invokes, it kind of helps strengthen the themes that the game talks about, of kind of Miles finding his own path in being Spider-Man, and what Spider-Man means for him specifically. Not so much like being that shadow of Peter and being the other Spider-Man, but being his own Spider-Man. And it's just, I could listen to those songs any time, any day, and I instantly remember what I was doing in that game and like when I was at those points in those games, and it's just, I love it. The soundtrack in turn, this game hit me a lot harder than I expected it to. And I really loved and enjoyed every minute of it, and that is why Miles Morales is my pick for best score in music this year.
Very nice. Very nice. Honestly, all 6 of these games, banger soundtracks.
They're
banger soundtracks.
Freaking wonderful here, guys. So a quick recap, everybody here. For best score in music, our winners, my winner is Spider-Man Miles Morales, with Fall Guys and Final Fantasy VII Remake as runners up. For Seth, his winner is Animal Crossing New Horizons, with Cyberpunk 2077 and Iconfell as runners up there. Those are the winners. Congratulations to them. Give them a round of applause here. Time for honorable mentions. Seth, any honorable mentions you want to talk about and throw in here with this category?
Yes, I have 3 that I just want to showcase for you. Okay. This is just the moment where we just kind of enjoy video game music for what it is. Not a lot of commentary, but I just want to share some of my favorite tracks from this year. So first up is the main theme title for Ori, Will of the Wisps. So yeah, Ori, Will of the Wisps, fantastic soundtrack. That main theme invokes the same feeling that original Ori and the Blind Forest theme invoked, with the harmonizing vocals, all of that. Just absolutely beautiful soundtrack throughout. I just picked the main theme because I think it best reflected that. But next one that I want to share with you is from what I'm going to say is probably one of the surprise hits from this year. Everyone loves it. It was nominated for a ton of game awards, and its music slaps, and that is Hades. Let's take a listen. What can I say? Hades, you know exactly where you are in that game. You just came out of the blood pool. You're ready to go into Tartarus for your next run. It is such a fantastic soundtrack. I got one more to share with you all. And I'm sorry about what I'm about to do to you, because I'm about to inject this song directly into your brain, and it's not going to leave your head for days on end. You probably just now gotten it out of your head from when it first came out. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the GPU Jungle from Astro's Playroom. Let's take a listen. Listen, Cameron, the GPU will do it for you. One of the catchiest songs of this year. The only other song I could think of, and I did not include it on this because I'm not a huge fan of giving awards based on one song, but I do want to shout out how great the Bugsnax theme song was. It was a cultural milestone. And yes, I think that they did a great job partnering with I can't remember her name.
Bonito.
Caro Bonito, thank you.
Got you, dog.
On making that. The reason I did not include it was because it's not really a song in the game per se. Like, it's not part of the game that you're playing. And it is it's not a song that was like composed by a video game composer, right? It was created. It kind of reminds me of like when you create a pop song that you like attach to a movie so that hopefully people will think of that movie.
Yeah.
When they like here's the worst example I can think of. Like All Star by Smash Mouth and Shrek, right? They want you to make that synaptic connection.
Wants to look at.
Exactly. So I think it's a great song. I think that Bugsnax is a great game, but it didn't really do anything on that. So it's why I didn't shout it out here, but Bugsnax was a great theme song.
Okay, fair enough.
And that's it.
I will keep mine short and sweet because I only have two honorable mentions here that I wanted to give a shout out to. The first one because it came out, and I actually even still to this day kind of I love the game, but feel slightly conflicted by some of the design choices they did in this second go around. But this is the song from Mick Gordon on the Doom Eternal soundtrack. The song is called "The Only Thing They Fear Is You." So take a listen. But no, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about best music and not include that. Mick Gordon and all the work he puts in for the soundtracks for Doom, the original one, and Doom Eternal are fucking awesome. Love them to death. The epitome of being the Doom Slayer, that music infuses into you when you play that game, and like the as fast as that game moves, like playing that soundtrack and listening to that music, it's the appropriate music for when you're killing demons. If you're ever killing demons, go ahead and purchase the Doom soundtrack in whatever form you need to. Put some earphones on, some nice ones. Don't get the cheap, like, little Skulls earbuds from the Best Buy or Walmart kind of slot there. You got to get the real nice ones, some Bose, something like that. Plug them in. You'll enjoy yourself. Have a good time. The other one, because it fucking came out, and if it wasn't for Miles Morales, as I said, this would have been in my list 1,000,000%. It's fucking Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah.
I was mad when I'm like, dude, they're remixing some of the songs, and then I listened to the songs and I was like, okay, it's cool. We're good. But this is the song.
He just comes out, he's like, it's okay, guys, it doesn't suck.
This is the song. This is the song that you hear when you do the ambush. So when you jump on somebody and actually rip the mask off, this is the song you hear. It is the
Brutus.
This is called Take Over, the battle theme there for Persona 5 Royal. So give this a listen. But yes, if you listen to us in 2017 when we talked about why this easily won best music score back then. Like, you understand why it's being mentioned here. Man, it's so good. It should scare you, Seth. I started playing this game. I bought it on sale, and I started a new playthrough, and I'm scared.
Yes. Be afraid.
But it is just, it has all, it's an update, so there's still a lot of the same songs there, but all the new ones that are in there are just so good. They're just as good, and I'm super excited to keep playing through it there. But those are my honorable mentions, guys. And that is it for part 2 here. Best music and score for the Rocket Punch Game of the Year 2020 Awards. Showcase spectacular. Again, thank you guys for listening. Everybody tuning in and watching the video here as well. Remember, we've got, for this week, we got part 3 coming up next here in just a minute. So if you want to go ahead, jump over to the part 3 video if you're watching it via video. But if you're listening via audio, just go and wait here. Part 3 will be up. You can go listen to that and jump in for our discussion on Unexpected Gem, which is always a fun discussion and a lot of stuff to talk about. So get hyped, get excited. This is always our fun one. But we'll see you guys for part 3 in just a few minutes.